Is the 24-25 EFL Championship set to be the worst ever? Let's discuss. And first of all, why on earth would I be asking this question? Well, there are two reasons. And the first is that without fail, like clockwork, each and every single season, I hear the comment, this is the poorest championship in years, Ben. This is the worst championship ever. So let's actually give it some credence and discuss it. And secondly, we were saying the exact opposite last season. Look down there. There was a video I put up. Is the 23-24 championship lineup the best ever? So I think this would make quite a good companion piece. Before you hear what I've got to say, why don't you head over as ever to the community tab on the Benjamin Bloom football channel, where I've asked the question. It's not really a question. You've got to finish the statement. I think the standard of quality in the 24-25 championship will be, and you can put either above average, average, or below average, and that will allow us a little bit of extra kind of info on what people are thinking about this topic. Now, a regression to the mean might be the first argument, and we are in hard act to follow after the Lord Mayor's show. Will we get a big come down after the ridiculous freak season last year? And yes, I still got told this is the worst championship ever last year, but it wasn't, was it? Now, this is where you can either agree or disagree with my premise of looking at points totals, but I think it's a fairly good barometer in that surely the more games you need to win in a season makes it either easier, harder, higher, lower, standard, etc. And looking at my wonderful spreadsheet of 10-year averages, the following teams set a 10-year high or equaled a 10-year high last season. Ipswich, Leeds and Southampton, second, third and fourth, meaning it was the hardest league in 10 seasons last year to get into the top two, ergo win the playoffs, given that the two finalists were third and fourth. And then cast your eyes, so I've got to point that way, down the table. QPR, Stoke, Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth. That is 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th and 21st. That is the 5 places directly above the relegation zone. Also recorded the highest points total, or I think there's 2 of them that are joint down there, or the joint highest points total in 10 seasons, meaning it was the easiest season to get relegated last year or the hardest season to survive. And we think Birmingham going down with 50 when we're normally looking at 45 to survive means maybe they're going to be a bit more of a freak show even with their money than in League One they were likely to be in the first instance. So are we going to get a big come down from last season, where I think since I've been covering the Championship, alongside 2018-19, where we had Farker and Norwich, Wilder, Sheffield United, Bielsa at Leeds, Barnesgale Rodriguez at West Brom, Lampard and the boys, the loanees at Derby, we had Grealish and Aston Villa. That was a great season. I think we're going to look back at last season and say that was a great season. And I believe in trends on this channel. Normally, a big peak is followed by some kind of trough. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. And what about the new arrivals? 6 teams go out in either direction and 6 teams come in either direction every year. That's why the Championship is loved and a bit more unpredictable than, say, the Premier League, where only 3 teams go out and 3 teams come in. And the rest of it is a little bit kind of fenced off, if you know what I mean. Not like that in the Championship, even with the contentions people have about parachute payments and financial cliff edges. More of that later, I'm sure. New arrivals, Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton. Now, where have we seen them before? Well, they weren't in the league last season, but they were in the Championship the season before. We have yo-yo teams returning now, guys. And look, great clubs, Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton. So don't take offence at the term yo-yo teams. We're using it to describe a team that goes up a division and down a division in consecutive seasons, which factually, objectively speaking, they have all done. Are yo-yo teams good for the standard of the league? Probably not. And in comparison to the likes of Leeds, Leicester and Southampton that came down, where particularly Leicester and Southampton have done 8 and 11 seasons straight in the Premier League, we think there may be slightly less quality in the teams coming down. You tell me, you debate it in the comments. Please keep calm when you do. And coming up from the bottom, look, there's no way when you take a team, Ipswich Town, who came out of League One and scored 96 points and finished second, the highest 96 points, the highest total for second place, as we've said, in the last 10 years. And you need to go back a long, long way for that. Might even be ever. Someone fact check me in the comments on that. Surely it goes without saying that Pompey, Derby and an Oxford team as well, when you compare Oxford to Sheffield Wednesday, not just in size and stature and expectation, but Sheffield Wednesday, I believe, was also 96 points, wasn't it? A massively high achieving third place team versus Oxford. And we've already discussed a relatively low points total that Oxford got to get in the playoffs. So I think we can also fairly reasonably argue that the 6 teams that have changed, the standard was probably higher last season. Again, you can debate that in the comments. Are we going to get the return of pragmatism as well, tactically? There were fewer draws, more goals, more wins last season, as you can imagine, with the high standard to avoid relegation and to get automatic promotion. Will we be returning to more pragmatic football? And don't take that as an insult. I bloody love Carlos Corberan. He's a brilliant manager, but go back to 2022 and Corberan, Cooper, Heckingbottom, Jones, Rower, all around that kind of top 8. They're all playing 3-5-2s and happy with draws. And look, we're going to set up and you try and beat us and we're going to be hard to play against was a lot of it, and counter-attacking and being solid defensively. Even in 2023, I was at that playoff final, and again, Coventry and Luton, absolutely amazing stories to go up the EFL and reach that Wembley final. Luton made it over the line in the end, but it was very pragmatic, pretty defensive, and Coventry's display, however brilliant against Middlesbrough in the semi-final, was pretty much the same. Have we gone away from pragmatism last year? And you know what happens with trends in football, that as soon as you get a lot of kind of open attacking football, some clever bugger goes, hang on a minute, what's the opposite of this? I'm going to do this because it's probably going to work. Will it be more pragmatic and more defensive next season? And how badly are we going to be affected by the market downturn? Yes, we know the parachute payments are still an issue and the financial cliff edges are still an issue, but trickle-down economics, I know a lot of people don't believe in them, because what's trickling down to me, Ben, here in Bedfordshire with my family trying to support them. So yeah, anyway, let's not get political on it, but we know FFP, P&S has reduced spending in the Premier League. So will we get less investment? Will that affect the quality? And will it make it easier for the parachute teams, which means a glass ceiling, which is never good for competition? There are a load of reasons why this could be the worst championship season ever. But come on, of course it's not going to be the worst championship season ever. I just feel, and you know I'm the most biased and most invested kind of lover of the championship there probably is. I just feel when you describe this 24-team, 46-game marathon, as I've said, with 6 teams out, 6 teams in every season, it never fails to deliver, even in spite of what are fairly clear financial inequalities between the teams coming down and maybe the rest of the league. And let's be very fair about this. Why do people tell me every year that this is the poorest championship for years? I don't think this is a football thing. I think this is a psychological thing. And it's that whole thing of, if I call everybody an idiot, then that makes me less of an idiot, doesn't it? But really, there might be a few idiots around, but when someone is going around saying everybody's an idiot, maybe they need to look in the mirror to find who the idiot is. So I think oftentimes there's a bit of a case with people trying to cut off everybody's legs because they're not really happy with their own team to try and make them taller. So no, I do not think this is going to be the worst championship ever. I'm sure there are reasons and ways it could be better, but look, it's going to be great, and I can't wait for it to start. 1 to 24 predictions are going to be coming soon as well. Get your views in via the comments. Go and vote in the poll. And check out, we'll put them over here, our owner rankings for the Championship and the Premier League as well. Get involved in the comments, get the debate going.